AI generated plant photos, which are just obviously fake, have started popping up. And I guess because I clicked on one, Facebook is convinced that's all I care about anymore. Just look at these things. They're terrible. They're obviously fake, but they're full of comments of people who don't know better. So today, we're gonna play a game of can you spot the AI generated plant photos. For the first plant, we're gonna look at the Agapanthus lily of the Nile. Beautiful blue flowers. So in this image, 2 of the images are real and 1 is AI generated. Can you tell which one it is? I'll give you just a second. If you guessed that number 1 or 3 was AI generated, you are wrong, because number 2 is the AI generated photo. And if you zoom in closer, hopefully you're looking at this in full screen because it would be pretty hard to tell otherwise. The imperfections on the leaves just don't add up. There are all these blank spots in between the flowers. So I actually took the photos of number 1 and 3. So 2, clearly the fake. This next one is the Alachua Muscadine grape. It's a wild growing grape. 2 of the images are real and 1 is fake. Make sure you're looking for, things that are just a little too smooth, a little too perfect. Did you say number 1? If you did, you are correct. The grapes are just too smooth, and if you're looking on full screen or you're zooming in, you can tell the imperfection. There are some imperfections in it, but they just don't look natural. So number 1 is the fake Alachua grape. Next up is the Barbados Cherry. And this one should be a little bit easier because 2 are not like the other, and 2 are AI generated, 1 is real. So which one do you think it is? I'm seeing some pretty smooth cherries, and I'm seeing one that doesn't really even look like a cherry. Because technically speaking, the Barbados Cherry is not a cherry. It just has that fun name. So if you guessed that number 3 was the Barbados Cherry, the real thing, you are correct. Numbers 1 and 2 are AI generated. Next up is the black bat plant, Taka chantrieri. Now, I kind of made this one a little bit difficult. There are 2 AI generated ones, and 1 right off the bat should be very easy to tell. 2, you should know right off the bat that is not a real plant. But now you got to decide, is 1 or 3 the real image? 3's got some pretty frightening elements, but so does number 1. When you generate these images, you can give leeway to the AI generator, how much creativity they can take with it. And I gave them full creative control on number 2, and that's why they came out with this Batman looking type plant. But they still put some frightening elements that do not exist in number 3. So yes, 3 and 2 are the AI generated images. Number 1 is the real deal. Next up is the black velvet Alocasia. 2 of these are AI generated and 1 is real. And 2 of them look pretty similar. So does that mean that the 2 that look similar are AI generated and the one in the middle is real? Who's to tell? Well, I'll tell you because I know the answer. But I want to give you enough time to think about it. If you said that 2 was AI generated, you would be correct. Now, you need to determine whether 1 or 3 is AI generated, and you would just need to look very closely at 1. Look at the texture on that. Then go over to number 3 and look at the texture on that one. And you're going to see 3 is a lot smoother. I actually gave the AI generator number 1 as a reference point, and they came up with 3, and so it mostly just softened up the edges. So number 1 is the real deal. Number 3 is an AI recreation of number 1. Next up is the Jaboticaba, and this one should really throw some of you guys for a loop because in real life, this plant just looks kind of crazy. The fruit, Jaboticaba, grows right off the trunk, which is just one of the most unique fruiting trees I've ever seen. It looks like they have some weird growth on them, but that is how they're supposed to grow, and they taste great. But take a close look at that, 2 are AI generated. 1 of them is real. Not necessarily number 1, but one of them is real. Did you decide yet? I'm going to give you number 1 is not real. Number 1 is AI generated. And you can tell this if you know what Jaboticaba looks like. That's not how they grow. They don't grow on twigs like that. It grows right off the trunk. So right away, we should be able to eliminate number 1. Now on number 2 and 3, the Jaboticaba is growing right off the tree. So if you said that number 2 is AI generated, you would be correct. Number 3 is real. It's a real high res image. The sun is playing on some of them, and some of them are in the shade, so that should be a giveaway. And then in number 2, the fruit is just too smooth. That's your giveaway. Next up is the Mariantha or Malaysian Orchid. 2 of these are real. 1 is AI generated. Which one do you think it is? Number 2 is AI generated. You can tell because the AI generator said, I told it to make an orchid and I gave it a reference point, so it made a pink orchid. Malaysian orchids are not actually orchids, and the AI model does not have enough information to know that. So it took the word orchid, made a pink one, and said that is a Malaysian orchid. Number 1 and 3 are the real deal. All right, this one I got a little carried away with. I thought it was just kind of funny, kind of a little bit over the top. But 2 of these are fake. 2 of them are AI generated, and 1 is real. Go into full screen, zoom in. One of them should be a dead giveaway. I won't tell you which one. I should tell you this is called the pineapple guava. It is a guava that tastes like a pineapple, but it's not actually a pineapple. So if you've figured out that number 2 is AI, good, it is. Now you just have to determine which other one is. So zoom in on the flowers. So one of the photos, the real photo, was the reference point for the AI generated one. Now the question is, which one do you think is the reference, the real thing, and which one was AI generated? If you said that number 1 was real, you'd be correct. Number 3, zoom in, look at the leaves, too smooth, they look plastic. There's not a whole lot of texture or detail on the flowers. Number 1 is the real deal. All right, we are moving on to the final plant. And I've tried to make this one a little bit more difficult. They are all facing the same direction, but this is the yellow bird of paradise. The plant itself seems like something that was AI generated. It's just very outlandish looking. It's very beautiful. If you know the orange bird of paradise and you love that, then you'll really love the yellow. But which one do you think is the real deal? All right, I'm going to tell you. The blue kind of looking spear that's coming out of right in front of the yellow petals, that is your clue. Look real closely at that to be able to tell. So, okay, let's come over here. Number 2 should be the giveaway. Number 2 is AI generated, but there is one more in the picture. But number 2 with that gap in the blue spear, that's a clear indication that that is AI generated. So as you're looking at number 1 and 3 to tell, one of those looks pretty artificial looking. And if you said that number 1 was AI generated and number 3 was real, you would be correct. Some of these are pretty hard to tell. I mean, look at the petals on the real one. They're smoother. They're actually smoother than they are on the AI generated ones. There's some more texture on the AI generated ones. But look at the actual green part of the plant where the flower is coming out of. There's a lot more texture on the real one. So it kind of takes a trained eye. So how many did you get correct? Was it kind of hard to tell? Let us know in the comments. The nice thing is your eye's a little bit more trained. So the next time you're scrolling Facebook, you won't get fooled by something as ridiculous as this.